be seeing insights related to the data languages which are present inside any SQL which we are trying to get into. Um, this is with respect to all these SQLs. I'm not only restricted to MySQL. You consider any the structured query language, any of the component of structured query language, or any version of the structured query language. It might be Oracle, it might be T-SQL. For all the SQLs, the definition languages, the manipulation languages are all the same. So we would see some insights related to what do you mean by data definition language, what do you mean by data manipulation, what do you mean by data query language, and the other two languages are transaction control and the data control languages. So yeah, these languages will give you more insights why they are called as data definition or data manipulation and what is their exact use case. So let me start creating with a new database, right? So once I create a database, see, you have only created a database. So you have to refresh it here. The database would be available here. Now, once the database is created, if you want to use it, we have to mention that specific database. You have to call that database, only then you would be inside that specific database. Done. Now, either you use or either you use select. Now, select means you are only selecting that specific database. So if you mention select database, you are only selecting that specific database. That's it. You're not doing any, you're not inside that database specifically, right? So we have selected, anyways, we have used a use command first. That's the reason you are inside that specific database. Now, for any specific query you're trying to write in SQL, might be you're trying to write whatever, create query, use query, or whatever queries you're trying to write, whatever keywords you're trying to write. If you're very new to this SQL, just to get an idea, or maybe if you're writing a query and if this query is viewed by some other person who isn't sure what this query is used for. So just to give them an idea, there is an option called as comments. Now, comments means, see, this create database October batch. Now, the wording itself gives us a good idea that we have created a database. But for a person who is very new to this, he doesn't understand what do you mean by create database. So in order to highlight what this specific command is used for, we need to write a comment, a small comment. Now, how do I write a comment? See, you can use hash, and you can write a comment. Now, what is this comment? Create a database with given name. This is our comment. Now, the question is, if I use single hash, if I'm using single hash, let me try to run this. See, ideally, this should throw an error. Anyways, this should throw an error. Why? Because there is already a database which is created. Now, what I'll do, let me write a comment here. I'll use single hash, use a specific database. So I'm trying to use this specific database. Let me run this query. It is affected. So if you use single hash, or even if you use double hash, it will work like a comment only. Even 3 times hash, it is like comment only. So wherever you are using a hash, you can use it as a comment. Comment means it will give you some additional insights that what is this query used for. Now, there is other way also. If you write a dash, see, if I'm trying to give one single hyphen, this is dash or hyphen. Even you can write a comment with this, but only one single hyphen will never take it as a comment. You have to take 2 hyphens. If it would have been hash, it will take only 1 hash. You want to write a comment using dash or a hyphen, you need to use 2 hyphens. Select a specific or select a mentioned database. So this is our comment. So as and when you're writing complex queries, complex SQL logics, if you feel that complex SQL logics for a person who is very new to get an understanding, you can always write a comment with this. Either you use a hash or either you use a double hyphen to write a comment. And it is always recommended to write a comment if you're very new to this SQL also, because it is very easy to grasp. Every time you need not go back and check the recording. Whenever you're writing a query, write a comment next to it so that it is very easier to grasp also, as and when if you're practicing after the sessions or maybe in the weekends. So it is very recommended to write a comment after every whatever keyword you're writing, whatever script you're writing, try to write a comment post that. Now, to get started with, we have created a database, we have used a database. Now the question is, inside this database, there are multiple objects. Now let's get started with creating a small table. How to create a table? So, we can write a query, create table. I'm trying to create a table and we have to give a name to that table. Maybe we can give test underscore table. I've written a query, create table, test table, and let me use brackets. So inside these brackets, now what does the table contain? Table always contains rows and columns. Now a table structure, how it looks like, we should have columns, right? We should give column names to it. Specifically, we should give column names to it. Now, how do we give a column name? Now, assuming that I've created a test table, let me give some random column names. There is a column name called as name. There is a column name called as contact. See, everything I'm trying to write in caps. It is not that always recommended you should write in caps. You can mention in small as well. Right? This is contact. Maybe we can write address. Maybe we can write mobile number. Contact is on anyways there. Address is there. What else we can write? We can write age. I'm trying to create a basic table. Now, table should always have rows and columns. Now, row means it is vertically, whereas horizontally, we should have a column. Now, how we can, for any specific column, there should be a data type. There should be a specific data type. Now, I've written a name. What is the data type of this name? Data type means how this name should configure. What does this column should store? So there are different data types which are available in SQL. So one of the data type is called as Varchar. One of the data type is called as Varchar. So once you mention Varchar, what is the maximum size should this name column take any value? I'll give it as 50 bytes. Done. So whenever you have written a column name and you have given a data type to it, if you are continuing with a different column, a new column, you should always give a comma to it. See, without comma, contact is giving me an error. But if I give a comma, the error has came down. That means there is a problem here. Now, if I give a comma here directly to the contact, see, something is missing. Something is missing, expecting what kind of data type it is. See, it is not a valid at this position, expecting what kind of data type. These are all the data types which this MySQL Workbench is recommending. So after contact, I should mention a data type. Now, what do you mean by contact? See, what do you mean by varchar? Varchar is nothing but a string value. We will have some insights related to varchar. There are multiple conditions also. I'll give you some insights maybe going further, but just to get started with, contact is nothing but a numerical value. So there is an option called as integer. Now for integer, you can mention what is the size of an integer, or even if you do not mention the size of integer, that is okay. That's how SQL works. I'll give a comma and see, you can see the error has came down from address to age. Now address is also a string value. String means it can take any combination of character, combination of numeric, combination of any special symbol also. So again, we can use a varchar here. See, either you can use a varchar or else there is an option called as char. Even you can use a character value. So I'll give a character value 50. Once again, there is one more column, so I have to give a comma. At the last, there is age. Now, age is also a numerical value. I'll mention it as integer. Done. See, I have created a table I've written a table, create table script. I have mentioned what columns I need to have inside that table. And for every column, what should be the data type? Now the question is why there is no comma here. Post age, there isn't any another column which we have declared. We have declared contact after name. We have declared address after contact. We have declared age after address. That's the reason I've used a comma. Comma means continuity of these columns, the columns which I'm trying to create inside this specific text table. So the query is done. I mean, I don't see any error here. Let me run this. Done. So you can see in the output window, create table. The table is created. Now, how do I make sure the table is created? There is a statement called as select. Select star from that specific table name, test underscore table. So I can use a semicolon here. See, if you want to give a comment to this, either you use a hash or either you use double hyphen, create table with mentioned columns. Done. Now for this, what do you mean by select? Selecting the table to display records. Now, what do you mean by records? Records are rows, fields are columns. So whenever you're trying to create a table, if you're trying to create a table, give me a moment. Now, if you're trying to create a table is nothing but the object, right? This table is nothing but an object. Now, inside this table, there should be columns which should be clearly defined. We can insert rows also, that is not a problem, but there should be columns which are precisely defined at the start while creating the table. So we have defined the column names. This is column 1, column 2. We have 4 columns also, column 3 and column 4. So we should inside some records to it. Records means rows and fields means columns. Now we have created a table. We have mentioned what all columns we require and what should be the data type of these columns. Now the question is, how do I display this information? Displaying the information can be done using select statement. We have selected test table. Now what does this star mean? Star means whatever rows and whatever columns are there inside that table, it should display all that conditions. Now if I run this query completely, so you can see the table is created, but there are no records to it. Ideally, it is correct. We have only created a table. We haven't inserted any records. We haven't inserted any rows. We have created a table with the column names, and I can see the table structure. Now the question is, how do I dump some data to it? We can dump some data using insert statement. Now, what does this select mean? What does this insert mean? What does this create mean? I'll explain in next 5 minutes, but let's first insert few records to it. Now, how a SQL query is written for insert? Insert into test underscore table as, now what should be the column names? I mean, I have certain columns, right? I have certain columns. Now, what all columns I have? Name. Name is a character value. It's a string value. Now, what do you mean by string? String is a combination of multiple entities. If you take string can take A, B, C. That means any character value. It can take 1, 2, 3, any numerical value. It can take plus, minus, division, multiplication, any special sign, hash, all the special signs. It can take comma, it can take question mark. Anything which is on the keyboard can be taken by this string data type. Now, string means in SQL, it is called as character, and it is also called as variable character, varchar. Now, what is the difference between char and varchar? I'll give you an idea. But whenever you are declaring string, you should declare char or varchar. And for every char or varchar, you should define what should be the maximum size of that specific column. Size means if there are 50 number of characters it can take in one single go, right? So you should clearly mention what do you mean by char and what is the value for it, and what is the varchar and what is the maximum value for it. Now I'll again go back. We have defined name first. So what should be the name? I'm trying to insert into that table. Let me give it a name. Let me give it a name. Done. I should mention contact. 10 digits. Done. Now I should mention address. So what I'll do, I'll mention my address. I've only mentioned city. Comma. See, I am using commas because I want to insert first is name, second is contact, third is address, and I want to insert my age. I've inserted. I've mentioned the values. Let me run this query. See, there would be definitely errors. The query is correct, but there would be errors. Let me run this. Unknown column Ritesh in the field list. Now, what do you mean by unknown column Ritesh? I've declared it correctly. It should be the name. Why is it not? So if you want to run two queries, if you want to run these two queries, you can select these two queries and you can run it. You will have two separate windows. The question is, why not two separate windows, only one window? Because one query is successfully running and the other query is giving an error. If two queries will run, it will have two separate windows. Now select star. Star means select everything from this test table. And I'm trying to insert a record. Unknown column Ritesh. Why this is giving me an error? Ritesh is nothing but the name. Name, what is the data type? It is character or varchar, which is a string data type. So whenever you are using a string data type, it is always recommended to use inverted commas. Ritesh should be mentioned inside inverted commas. Now, if I rerun this, see, still error would be there, but the error would not be Ritesh. It would be mobile number. Okay, it has directly jumped. It has directly jumped to the Hyderabad. Now, Hyderabad is also character. I should mention character. Done. Now, if I rerun this again. Now, the question is, again, it is giving me an error. Out of range value for column contact at row number 1. Contact is an integer data type. I have mentioned the contact, which is 10 digits. Ideally, the contact is 10 digits, but it is giving me an error out of range value. The range of integer is more, or probably it is less than what we have mentioned. It is out of range. The value which we have mentioned, it is out of range of integer. Let me reduce the number of digits. Let me reduce. I've reduced it to 7 digits or 7 characters or probably 7 integer values. I'll rerun this. It should run. You can see insert into test table, 1 row affected. Age is correct, 28. Now, the reason why it is out of range, I'll give you an idea. Let's get started with character string first, and then we move out to the integer data types. Now, inserted, I want to see whether the value is inserted or not. We have to use a select statement again. Now you rerun it, including the comment. You can run it. You see, 1 record is coming. 1 record is coming. Now, let me insert one more record. What I'll do, I'll copy the same condition. I'll paste it here. Maybe I'll change few values. Done. And I'll change it to this way. I'll rerun. I'll run this insert statement. 1 row affected. That means it's okay. It's fine. I'll again use a select statement. It should display 2 conditions, 2 records. Now, I don't want to list out all the columns. I only want few columns. If you use star, Star means list out all the records, list out all the columns, all the records as well as all the columns. Now I want to list out only two columns, name and address. I don't want contact and age. Can we do using select statement? Yes. Star means selecting everything. I don't want star. I only want to mention name, comma, ADDRS. Address. I only want to display these. If I rerun this, you can see only two columns are selected and displayed. Select statement is for displaying the records. Now, as I've said, this is a case sensitive language. MySQL is a case sensitive language. If you mention small names or using small characters as well, it will still display. But the name of the column is changed here. See, everything is in small. Ideally, everything is in capital when we have created a table, but now it is still displaying. MySQL is a case insensitive. It is not case sensitive. It is case insensitive. You can give any name, any character, combination of characters. Now I want a combination. See, NAME. I can display this way. Right? So I can write this. Still, it will display. This is a case insensitive language. You can mention a combination of whatever characters you want. It will still display the records, but it should match that name. That's it. It should match that specific name. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Ritesh, so right now, whatever you enter, it's showing, right? The case for the name and address. But when you select select star from table, it will show you the actual case that you've
Excel
used for
case. Yes.
creating the
Actual
table.
values.
Okay. Okay. And is there any other way to insert values other than repeating it every single time? Like, do we have to repeat
There
it
is.
every single time?
There is a condition. You have to mention multiple commas. That I'll show you.
Okay.
Using only one insert statement, you can still insert multiple set of records.
Okay.
Now, let me write the comment to it. Insert records to a table. Now, up till now, what we have seen create, we have seen select, and we have seen insert. Now, in terms of SQL, there are 4 or 5 different languages. Languages means, see, a table is nothing but an object. Now, you cannot directly insert into a table, right? You need to create a table. If you're using insert first, it will not work. You need to create a first table and then you can insert. Now, what do you mean by create? Create means you are defining how the structure should be of that table. First create, then you should insert. So what do you mean by create? You need to define the structure of a table. That structure of an object, you're trying to define a structure of an object. So creating means you are defining something. So whenever create command comes, it is called as data definition language, DDL, data definition language. Now, once the table is created, you need to insert some record to it. Insert means you are manipulating that table. You are doing some analysis, you are doing some inserts. You can also update the record. We have inserted, we can still update the record. We will see how to update the record. But once the definition is done, once the table is defined, you are inserting a record. That means you are manipulating something. Then manipulation is called as data manipulation language, DML. Once the DDL is done, once the create table is done, you are inserting a record. That is called as data manipulation language. Now, once create and insert is done, we are using select to display the records. We are using select to display the records. It is called as data query language. You are querying something and you're displaying the records. First is definition, then is manipulation, and you're selecting a table. It is called as data query language. Now we will see a few more insights going further, but just to give you an idea, once you have a structure, only then you can insert a record. So structure is called as definition. It is data definition language. Inserting a record is called as manipulating the data. It is called as data manipulation language. And you want to display what is being inserted. It is called as data query language. Now I'll take a pause. Any question on the DDL, DML, and DQL? There are many other statements also in DDL, DML, and DQL, but I'll explain it further. Just to give you an idea, I've given what do you mean by DDL, DML, and DQL. Any questions on this?
Yeah, hi. I have one question. Like
Yeah.
while creating the table, you put some name like a name, ID, address, right? So while creating, if I mistakenly written a wrong name and I want to replace it, if I've
There
given
is
a
there
wrong.
is an option. You can.
Okay.
So that condition is called as alter table.
Okay.
As I've said,
Alter
in
table.
DDL, only create is not there. There is create, there is drop, there is alter, there is rename. There are multiple commands. I'll go through that.
Okay.
Yep. Any other questions?
Ritesh, we have seen create, use, select, and insert. Use is which part of SQL?
Use.
Yes.
It is DQL. You are selecting something, right?
Select. Okay.
You are selecting something. It's DQL. Data query language.
Thanks.
I have one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
You inserted one row actually. When it comes to 1,000 number of rows, how we gonna do that?
So that is what I've said. Only using one insert statement, you can insert 1,000 rows also. I'll explain that. We haven't reached up to that point. I've started very basics, right? For 1,000 rows, if you want to insert, it should be inserted from certain source, right? So there you can write a query. I'll show you that, how that query can be written. Or else, using only one insert statement also, you can insert 1,000 records. Even that is possible.
Okay.
Hi, Ritesh. Could you
Yeah.
please explain DML DQL with an example?
So I've explained with the example, right? DDL is nothing but you are defining something. Table, first you need to define the table, how the table should look alike. That is called as data definition language. Once the table is defined, you need to insert some records. That means you are manipulating some data inside that table. That is called as data manipulation language. If you want to display the records which are present in it, you are querying something. That is called as data query language. Select, use is also data query language.
Okay.
Any other questions? If not, let me go ahead. Now, anyways, we have seen create, we have seen select, we have seen insert. Now, we will see few more commands which are present in DML. Insert is one of the command. I've inserted 2 records. If I use select star, let me use star. I don't want only name and address. I want everything. Let me use star. Now, the question is, once I've inserted, I want to modify some records here. I want to update some records. Now, for me, the contact number has changed. This was my earlier contact number. I want to change it to a different contact number. How do I do that? There is a statement called as update. What you want to update? You want to update this table, set what you want to change. Contact equal to, let me mention a contact. Done. There is no error. This query is giving me nothing. If there would be an error, something it would have thrown, but there is no error. I've used a semicolon. Let me run this. I want to update the contact number for me. Now I'm trying to update the contact. Update is done. 1 row affected. Rows matched 2. I'm not sure what is this. Let me run this select statement again to see whether it is updated or not. If you see, the contact has been updated for me.
Ritesh, we can't hear your voice.
Yeah, just a moment.
Oh.
Okay, so I've updated contact to this. Ideally for me, it should be updated. But both the records, it is updated. Now the question is, if you are using an update, it is very, very important to use an important condition called as where clause. There is something called as clauses in SQL. You should always use a where clause here. I want to update contact accepted, but for whom I want to update? With my name, I want to update. With my name, I want to update. I didn't want it to update for Rakesh. So if you're using the update, there should be a where clause. Okay, we'll do that. But prior to that, let me delete the records and let me reinsert and then use an update. Now, in order to delete a record, there is a statement called as delete. Delete. Now, what you want to delete? Delete from that specific table, test_table. Now, many will have a question that why update will work directly, why update from test, why this is not the case, why delete from test table is there. See, there are few rules and regulations in SQL that you have to follow. If you still have a question, we can't do anything. There are few set rules and regulations. That's how the SQL is developed. So I want to delete from test table. I want to delete the records. Maybe I want to delete only Rakesh, but let's see. If I use delete from test table, okay, it is working. You see 2 rows affected. That means both the rows are deleted. If I use select statement again, nothing is there. I have deleted everything from this test table. Now, one more important condition. Whenever you are using update or whenever you are using delete, if you use delete and update without where clause, that means everything would be deleted or everything would be updated. You should always use a where clause here. I only wanted to delete Rakesh, but I have deleted everything from that test table. So whenever you're using update, delete, keep one thing in mind. If you're a working professional, usually update and delete are not supported for any developer. If you are a very pro in SQL, only then update and delete access is given. Now, for some of you who are practicing along with me, if you are practicing along with me, if you have installed this MySQL Workbench recently, your update and delete statement will not work directly. It is always set to 0 or it is always set to off. Update and delete are by default off by any SQL, any frameworks. So in order to make sure this update and delete is working, set SQL. See, there is a query. You should write this query. What does this query mean? This will make update and delete working. By default, SQL safe updates are kept as 1. I want to keep it as 0. That means I want to off this. If you off this, only then delete and update will work for you. You need to write the SQL statement and you need to run this. If you run this, only then update and delete will work. Now, prior running this, try using update, try using delete. It will throw an error for you if you have recently installed this MySQL. And then try this running this statement and then use update and delete. Only in that case, update and delete will work. And this is common for every database, any SQL database. update and delete access are not given. Why? Because if you use an update and by chance you're not using a where clause, everything would be updated in that table. And if you're using a delete also, without where clause, everything would be deleted. That is how update and delete would work. So make sure you are using update and delete only if you have a where clause. And this is very, very important. Now what I'm doing, I'm updating a record present inside the table. I'm deleting a record present inside the table. So anything which you are doing inside the table is called as data manipulation language. Because we are doing anything which is inside the table. All the records are inside the table. Anything which you are doing for the table structure is called as data definition language. If you're changing the structure of a table, it is called as data definition. But if you're changing the records present in that table, it is called as data manipulation. So update and delete are also data manipulation language commands. Now let me again reinsert the records. I've inserted 2 records. Let me use select statement again. 2 records are there. Now I want to update contact for me. I want to, yeah, Sandeep, you have a question?
No, sorry.
Okay. So if I want to update contact number for me, I should write update test table set contact is equal to this for whom, where name. I can use a combination. See, this is case insensitive where name is equal to. See, if I only write Ritesh here, it will not work because Ritesh is a string value. I should always use inverted commas. Now, the few people will also have some silly question. Why can't I use double inverted? See, if you use double inverted, you should always use double inverted here also. This will work. It is always recommended to use single inverted commas. Why to use double? Go with this and I'll update this. 1 row affected, 1 row changed. Earlier it was 1 row affected, but 2 rows changed. Now it is only 1 row changed. If I use select statement again, only for me, the contact number would be updated. See, only for me, the contact number is updated. Anyways, Rakesh. Now I want to update the contact number for Rakesh also because what I feel is if both are same. Let me update that. I'll use one more update. Set contact number is equal to, probably I'll use it this way, where name is equal to Rakesh. I'm using this where statement, update statement. Done. I'll use select statement again. You see the contact number is updated. Now, if I use delete, if I run this, everything would be deleted, but I only want to delete 1 record. In that case, delete should be always used with a where clause. Okay, accepted. If you want to delete everything, you should have a good idea that you want to delete everything. Only then you can use delete from table. Now I want to delete only 1 record where I want to delete where age is equal to 35. Person with age 35, I want to delete a record. 1 row affected, that means that Rakesh record is deleted. Let me use select statement and you see only 1 record is present. Now, you might also have a question that, let me insert Rakesh again. Insert it and let me update his contact number. Update it. And if I use a select statement, I want to delete from test table where age is equal to 40. Age is 28 and 35 of 2 records which are present. But if I use this delete, it will still run. It will still run. The query is correct, but there is no person with age 40. That means no record is deleted. 0 rows affected. You can still use it. The query is correct. This is delete a record from table. And this is update a record from a table. table. Done?
Ritesh, I have a small doubt.
Hmm.
So as you mentioned, delete from a test table where age is, for example, you have given near 35.
Hmm.
So if there was a multiple records of people who belongs to age 35, all records will be deleted.
Very well. All records would be deleted. In that case, if you want to delete only one record, I mean, if that person name is some Rajesh,
Okay.
I want to delete that only person record, you can use where clause where age is equal to 35. And you should also mention one more condition and name equal to whatever his name is.
Okay, that particular person.
Yeah. So I'm using both the conditions in the where clause. And is also a condition here. Where is a clause and is a condition. With this condition, I'm taking two filter conditions. Where is nothing but a filter condition because you are filtering something, right? So you can mention where name is equal to whatever name. If his name is Rajesh, you can mention this way. And if there are multiple Rajesh also, Rajesh with 35, two Rajesh are there. You can mention one more and condition and you can give some unique identity, maybe employee ID, whatever column you want to display, you can use multiple and conditions as well.
Okay.
Or instead, we can add directly the unique employee ID instead of age and name, right?
Even that is possible. It is up to us. Depending on the columns, you can do that. Good. So insert, update, delete is working for the records which are present inside the table. That is why they are called as data manipulation language. Insert, update, delete are all three data manipulation language. Now I have created a table. I want to change the structure of a table. Create is okay. I want to change the structure of a table. Now, how do I change? Maybe I can recreate a table again using a different structure. Yes, even that is possible. Now, in order to recreate the same table, I need to delete this table, right? Now, delete is working for the records present inside that table. But if I want to delete this complete table, there is no delete statement. There is a drop statement. If you want to remove that table, you want to drop that table. Delete is for record, drop is for table. Drop is for object. Delete is for records present in that object. So I want to drop that table, drop table, and I should mention that table name. And if you see, whenever I'm writing a DDL statement, data definition language, first is create. You should always mention what object you are creating. I am creating table, only then you should give a name to it. Create object name, create object and object name. Again, I'll come down, drop what you want to drop. I want to drop object, which is table, and then that table name. For data definition language, you should always see that you need to use a object name and then whatever object you want to delete, whatever object you want to create, and then the name of that object. You can identify that. With that statement, you can identify it's a data definition language. If I go ahead, create database. Create is nothing but a data definition language. And what I want to create an object called as database. And then I have mentioned the name of that database. So how to identify what is data definition language? Object is also mentioned and what is the name of that object is also mentioned. If you see here, use directly, I'm using it. No need to mention what. Select statement. See, select also you can directly use. Just because it's a database, I have mentioned database here. So for anything which is DML, anything which is DQL, it can be directly written. Need not mention what is the object name. But for any DDL statement, you should mention the object name. I want to drop this table, test table. If I drop this, see, there is no where condition here. Why to use a where condition? I'm deleting that complete table. I'm not deleting the records from that table. I want to drop that complete structure of a table. I'll drop this. 0 rows affected. How come 0 rows affected? I delete the table should have been dropped. I'll use select statement again. table test underscore table doesn't exist. That means the table has been dropped. The table has been removed from the database. You can see earlier there was a arrow here and we would have seen the table, but now there is no table inside this database. That means it has dropped a table. Now, if you want, you can change the structure of a table here and you can recreate a table. You can still recreate a table. Now, the question is, if there are 1000 records, in that case, if you want to drop that table and recreate a table, it is very difficult. It is very difficult. In that case, you can alter a table. There is a statement, you can change the table without dropping that table. Without dropping the table, you can alter that statement or alter that specific table. Drop is also DDL, but it will remove the structure or it will remove the object completely. Completely object is removed. Now, without changing the object, I want to do some modification. Let me recreate a table. Let me insert records. Let me update one of the record and let me come down. If I use select statement, let me copy the select statement again. Now, what I want to do, in case of address, anyways, we are mentioning city. I want to change this column name. Rather than address, it should be city. Now, there is a statement called as alter. Alter means it will change the structure of a table with whatever structure you are defining. Whatever structure you are defining, it will change the structure of a table. Now, how do I write an alter statement?
Alter table name.
Alter. We should mention table. We are altering table, right? We should mention table object. Object we have mentioned, what should be the object name? Test table. This is data definition language. Now, what I want to update? I want to update something. Maybe
Address.
Now from address, I want to change it to city name. So there are two conditions. In MySQL, it is written as modify. Modify what column you want to modify. You should also mention, I want to modify column. I want to modify column. Modify column. Now, how do I write it?
Ritesh, other than columns, what else will be there inside a table? It should be a column, right? Or you
It
can
should
also
be-
change a table name here.
No, table
Can you
name
change
cannot
the
be
table
changed.
name with alter? No, right? Or you
No.
can.
No, you cannot.
So
Columns inside that structure of a table can be changed, not the table name.
So it has to be a column for sure. Every alter table statement should be a
Yes.
modify column itself. It can't be anything.
Yes, yes.
Oh.
Now, see, modify is for maybe you want to change some data type of that column. Address data type, I don't want to change. I only want to rename. There is also a rename option available. Rename column. What column I want to rename? Address. To which condition you want to rename? To city underscore name. See, if I mention city space name, it will not work. Why? Because city name is a one single column name. In case of SQL, if you have a space, it will not work. If you want a space, it should look like a space. You can use an underscore here. Done. I want to update, I want to rename this address to city name. I'll use a semicolon here. Let me alter this.
What about if I want a space? Can I use inverted?
No option.
No?
You should use underscore here, or you should use a dash here. Now, even in case of dash, it is not working. It is always recommended to use a underscore.
What about if we give space and then put it in inverted?
It will not work. That's how SQL works. It will not work.
Okay.
Same way, can we alter row also?
No. Why do you want to alter a row? For altering a row, it is update. The row is
So
inside that data type.
what if the structure of the table is only different way?
I didn't got your question.
Like in the rows, what if we have the fields like name, contact name, city name, like that?
I didn't got you. Again, can you repeat your question again?
Like the structure of the table is only different. Like in the rows, we have the fields like name, contact.
Mhm.
At that time, can we alter the table by
See, you
using
can
the...
alter the table irrespective of whatever records present inside that.
Okay.
Irrespective of whatever records are there, you can still alter it. The question is the data type should be matching. Address and city name data type is same. Now, this is in terms of MySQL.
I have one question. Can
Mhm.
we change in their character defining also, means when we
Yeah, data type
define
you can
their
change.
character length
Let
or
me
that
change. Let me
that
change.
can be
Yes,
data
alter
type.
table. I want to
And
modify.
can we also add some columns?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
I'll do that. See, I want to alter something. I want to modify column age. Probably not age. Maybe I want to modify city address. I want to modify city address. And what you want to modify? City address. What is the data type? City. It was address.
City.
It is changed to character. I want to change it to varchar. See, if I change it to integer, let's see. I want to change it to integer. Alter table, test table, modify column city address to integer. Let's see if it is
City.
working.
City name, right?
Oh, sorry. City name. My bad. City name. Incorrect integer value Hyderabad. It will not take because the records present inside that city name are all characters. So we have used a character there. Can we change it to varchar? Now, what do you mean by difference? What is the difference between char and varchar? Probably I'll explain it in next 5 minutes. I've changed city name was earlier address was char. It is changed to city name and I wanted to change the data type to varchar. Let me run this. You can see varchar. The data type has automatically changed. So this is alter rename column. This is alter change data type. Now one more condition, alter table, test underscore table. Now someone had a question. Can we add a column? I want to add a new column. You can add and you can delete a column as well. Maybe I want to add a column. Add. What you want to add, that also you should specifically mention. I want to add specific column. Maybe. Let me write the column name directly. Let's see. Alter table, test table. I want to add email. Email. And what should be the data type? Email is also varchar because it is a combination of multiple values. It should be a string value. 50. Okay, my bad. 50. I'll run this. Done. I'll use the select statement again. You see, email has been added. Now, there are no records. That's the reason it is giving you as null, but the email has been added. Now, you want to drop a column. You can always drop a column. The column which has records also you can drop, or which doesn't have records also you can drop. Now, I'll drop that email column. I want to drop that email column. Now, here, see, there is a slight difference. What you want to drop? I have created a column. There is no requirement to add a column here. But if you write drop email, that's it. If you're dropping something, why to write a data type? If I run this, it is working. Again, I'll use a select statement. that column has been dropped. If you mention drop email, it will still work. If you mention drop column email also, it will still work. If you add column also, it will still work. This is not recommended, but still, if you add a column, if you drop a column, you mention a column, it will still work. So rename can be done, add can be done, drop can be done, modify can be done. Almost everything can be done. Change of structure can be done, ideally.
Ritesh, is it possible to change the sequence of the columns? Say I want city name before
No.
contact.
No.
Or move age before. No.
No. You can change the sequence while creating the table itself.
Okay, but after doing everything, now if I want to change the sequence
See,
at
the
this
question
point.
is, if you want to display it in whatever sequence you want, you can change the sequence, right? Now, I want to display name. I want to display address.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you can change the condition here. And then I want to display the contact, and then I want to display the age. You can change that in select statement.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, it is city name, right? City underscore. Now it will work. You can change the sequence in select statement itself.
Right. That's
right. Any other questions? So alter, drop, create is data definition language. Even rename is a data definition language, because rename is present inside alter only. Select, insert, insert, update, delete is data manipulation language. Select and use is data query language. Now, there are the other two languages, which is transaction control language and data control language. Maybe not required for next 4 or 5 days. Post that, we will discuss it. Now we have a time, it's almost 9 a.m. only. What is the difference between char and varchar? It is very, very important to understand the difference. There are many data types, and which data type you should use efficiently, that will also play an important role. This is char, and I have declared a size of 5. This is varchar. See, for char and varchar, you should always define a size. This is varchar, and same size 5. So in case of char, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you insert a record here, any specific record you're trying to insert. Yeah, now if I'm trying to insert Divya's name, right? So it is exact match. Her number of characters are 5. Here also it will be Divya. No change. There is no change. Nothing. Everything looks good. Correct. But I want to insert a smaller condition. Maybe I want to insert Dev. There are 2 vacant spaces. This is vacant space. This is vacant space. Vacant. Here also Dev. But in case of varchar, how it goes is, these vacant spaces will not come. Varchar is so powerful that if you have declared maximum size of 5, and if the number of records are 3, it will not take that white spaces. Whereas in case of char, irrespective of whatever size you're declaring, it will take that all white spaces. Even if the records are only 3, I mean, if the number of characters are 3, but ideally you have declared char as 5, so it will take that white space. It will occupy that complete space. That is the basic difference between char and varchar. This is the basic difference between char and varchar. And It is up to you. Which is more feasible? Is it char or is it varchar? Yep. Which one is efficient?
So say if the mobile number always stays 10
See,
characters.
for
in
mobile
that
number, it is integer. Yeah, you can insert a variable character. You can insert mobile number also, because variable character will accept integer as well.
case. So if something doesn't have like a changing number
No.
of characters, then in that case maybe char would work, but otherwise it's gonna waste
It is
the
always
space.
recommended to go with varchar.
Right.
We never know what is the number of records or number of characters we'll be using. Varchar will always save a storage. Here it is occupying white spaces. That means it is occupying complete storage. Varchar will always be faster and it will be more efficient as compared to char. Char was introduced first, then varchar. Varchar means variable character. Depending on the character values, the length would vary. Variable character. Always recommended to go with varchar, not with char. Nowadays, since last 10, 15 years, I haven't seen any person using character. Always varchar is used. Any questions on this char and varchar? And this is very, very important for a person who is very new to this SQL, who wants to enter this field. And if anyone who wants to take your interview with a very basic understanding, he can ask you a question here. What is the difference between char and varchar? So you should know this difference. And these questions are asked in product-based companies. You would never expect this question in service-based. Small product-based companies also would ask you a question because they wanted to know how depth you know this SQL. Any questions on this char and varchar?
Hi, Ritesh.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, Meir, go ahead.
Am I audible?
Yes, Meir, you are audible. Go ahead.
How to know where to use char and varchar?
So that is what I'm trying to say. Always go with varchar. Never use char.
Okay.
Never use char. Always go with varchar. We never know what records we would be having, what number of characters we would be having. Always go with varchar. Never go with char.
Each SQL is a case sensitive? No.
T-SQL is case sensitive. This mysql is case insensitive.
Okay.
Any other question?
And Ritesh, you were mentioning in MySQL it's this way, and you were saying something, and I think
In
it
SQL
got
Server.
awkward.
Okay. Got it.
I don't know which one it was.
So if you want to modify is, see, add and drop will remain same in SQL Server. That won't be a problem. In case of MySQL, modify is the command which is used to modify some column. If you want to change any data type. In case of rename also, it will be remain same. Rename works in all the conditions. In MySQL, in SQL Server, in Oracle SQL, but only for modify will work in Oracle as well as MySQL. But if you are using SQL Server, in case of modify, there is no modify. Again, it will come as alter only. Here it will throw an error. Here it will throw an error. But in case of T-SQL, which is SQL Server, there it would be alter column, whatever column name and data type.
Okay.
Here it is modified. In case of Oracle and in case of MySQL, it is same. Now, why Oracle and MySQL it is same is because both are product of Oracle only. That's the reason they have kept it same.
Ritesh, difference between modify and alter?
Both are same. That is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
SQL, you are referring to MS SQL, no? Microsoft SQL, right?
Yes, MS SQL or SQL Server, both are same. T-SQL, MS SQL, SQL Server, all same. Same means SQL. It's a product of Microsoft SQL Server.
Can we use change instead of modify?
No, it is not supported.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, I want to ask regarding sir varchar and character.
Mhm.
Suppose there is a condition that we have to use gender like male, female, or transgender. We
Mhm.
can use the single letters like T. So in that case, I think it will be better to use character as it is a fixed length, or we have to use varchar, sir.
See, if you declare varchar 1 and if you declare char 1, what is the difference?
There will be no difference, sir.
So why to use char? Go with varchar, right? If
Okay,
varchar is more feasible than character, why you people are going with character?
I think he's trying to ask if you want
I
to
got
limit
you. I
the
got you.
question from entering
Only
only
one,
one
only
character.
one condition you want to use. Only one character you want to use.
Yeah,
In
and
that case also,
eliminate
even variable
people.
character will work.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
But is there
No
a way
requirement
to
to use
limit?
character. See, keep
Yeah,
one
yeah,
thing in mind. Character is not recommended. From my
yeah.
side, yeah, go ahead.
No, what I was trying to ask is I understand. I'm not talking about using char.
Mhm.
I mean, from his question, I got another question. So
Mhm.
say you have like gender, what he was saying, and you want a person, whoever is entering the data, you want him to enter only one character for the gender and not write male completely. So how do you
Mhm.
restrict that entering of characters?
There is an
Is
option.
that-
There
Okay,
are check constraints. Length of a string should not be greater than one character. That would be
okay,
higher SQL. Going further, we would be
got
learning
it,
check constraints also.
got it.
Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. You have a question.
Sir, means varchar save the memory of the um,
Database.
database, right? Hello.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go
Yes,
ahead.
right, no, sir. Save the memory only. That's it.
It is more efficient. It will save memory. It is faster.
Okay, okay.
And if you see any SQL, I'm not sure if you visit any learn documents related to SQL also. 99.9% of the time they are all varchar. Character you will never see. If you see character, you are reading maybe if you're reading a blog, something related to SQL, that blog is almost 15 years back. Since last 15 years, no one is using character. It's varchar, variable character. In case of, good question again you have asked. In case of SQL Server, which is MS SQL, which is T SQL, it is not varchar, it is n varchar. It is n varchar. You can use n varchar. Slight difference, nothing change. N varchar. Even varchar is there, but you can use n varchar, which is more efficient. Upgraded version of varchar. In case of MySQL, it is only varchar. In case of Oracle SQL also, it's only varchar, Oracle. But in case of T SQL or MS SQL or SQL Server, it is n varchar. Upgraded version of varchar.
So just the way they say it is different, or is there any special?
Just the way they say it different, and they have improved the efficiency as compared to varchar in nvar. It all depends on who is developing that SQL. See, Microsoft is developing. They felt that nvarchar is more faster. They might have changed few things there. Any other questions? So data definition, data manipulation, data query language we have seen. Probably going further, we would see some other languages and some constraints. We would be starting with constraints in next session or probably next to next session. So today is the 4th session. We still have one more session pending tomorrow, which is free. You can attend that. If you feel that if you are able to understand, you're always free to connect with the team and enroll for this. We would be covering with this same pace for next 3-4 sessions, and going further, the pace would slightly increase, because once you feel you're comfortable with this basics, the pace would definitely high. Even you will expect that, yeah, can't we go very fast? Just to get the basics very clear, we are at the very slow pace. Yep. Any other questions?
Ritesh, can I get a recording session of yesterday's?
This recording sessions are always available. Okay. Anyways, let me give you an idea. Once you log into the KSR website,
Which what it says now. Okay.
Just a moment. I'll show you. So these sessions are already uploaded to the YouTube also. You can visit our KSR Data Vision YouTube channel. That is also visible. If you want to still see the recordings from the KSR website or application, I'll show you how is it done. See, you need to visit this KSR Data Vision. Once you visit, you can log in. Once you log in, you will see my account. See, there are already banners going on. You can go to this courses tab. In this courses tab, the very first tab, the very first icon is for free full stack Power BI preview. Click here. See, there is an option called as buy now, but as of now, it is access course. It is free. You can click on this access course. This would be added to your bucket. See, this is added to my bucket here. You can click here. Once it is added to the bucket, once you click here, you come down, you can go to the class records. See, all that class records are available. Now, you have to select which date range. Only 3 records are available as of now. 1, 2, today's record is live. Where's the first day? You can change it to this year, complete year. Now, for me, everything would be visible because many courses are assigned to me. That's the reason. For you, only 5 sessions would be visible. And you see yesterday's SQL component, yesterday's installation steps also I've kept how to install MySQL. That PPT is also kept here. You can come down. You can go MySQL installation steps. You can click on download. This would be downloaded. Along with this, as I've said, if you follow our YouTube channel, even that is visible, KSR Data Vision, you can come down. There is this YouTube channel. You can visit this YouTube channel. On this YouTube channel, also recordings are already shared. So if you go to this videos tab, see, day 1, day 2, day 3, all the recording sessions are there. You can still follow this. For 5 days, recordings would be available. Any other questions?
Like one of my friend also wanted to join, so he'll be joining from Monday. So will it be starting from the
No, I would not be
or
starting from the start. We would be, see, 5 sessions are not random sessions. We are continuing that same sessions. So he can still access that recordings. If he has any questions, he can always reach out to me.
Okay, Ritesh.
Yeah. Demo sessions, that doesn't mean that we are randomly taking, we are continuing that same path. What we are teaching, that would be continued directly. Any other questions?
Hi, Ritesh.
Yeah,
Arshad here. I need your advice. It's not a question. Actually, I was waiting for your class. So before that, we have I have taken a demo of data science and data engineering. Currently, I'm a data analyst in a MLC. Just I'm looking forward to expand my knowledge and upscale myself in Power BI, like Fabric and Azure. Along with that, I wanted to go with one more course. I'm a bit confused what to go next because I'm planning to go with the Fabric, and along with that, data engineer would be a good option, or data science would be a better option. What do you suggest in this one? Because I'm planning to go with the Fabric with Azure. Along with that, I wanted to go because since I have a time, like free time for this 2 to 3 months, like there is no more project. So just looking for your advice. What do you suggest?
So how many years of experience you have?
In data analyst, it's 5 years.
And specific to data analyst means any tool you're using, or is it with SQL and Python?
Power BI SQL I'm using, but I'm here to upgrade myself in Fabric and Azure and other things.
Okay, so data science is totally a different course. There it would be AI, machine learning, the predictive models, all that will come into picture. Now, I'm not sure if you are assuming that you have 5 years of experience, that you're good in Power BI. Now, if you want to learn only data engineering, then I would suggest go with data engineering. There won't be any Power BI there. There won't be any Fabric there. It would be straightforward data engineering. Everything would be an Azure cloud. If you want to learn Fabric and bit of data engineering, which is used by Power BI folks, then this is the correct course. Data science is nowhere in picture for you. Okay, if you are very interested to learn predictive modeling, machine learning, that in that case you can opt. But I would not recommend. From your question, what I understood is you are confused between Fabric and data engineering.
No,
so in that case, yeah. So in that case, data engineering will not cover anything related to Fabric or Power BI. It would be pure data engineering. All would be PySpark. You need to know Python. Yeah, Python would be covered there. Spark would be covered there. Hive, Hadoop, all your in-depth data engineering concepts would be covered. Here it is Power BI, SQL, and Fabric, as well as Azure, which is ADF, which is frequently used from a data analyst point of view.
Ritesh, since you're, telling him all the differences, would you be able to write it on a notepad as to what tools like a data scientist would have and what tools the data engineering,
It would vary. See, it all
would you be able
varies.
to write down like a basic list? It's very confusing all the time as to what tools we need to upgrade on or what else we need to learn. It's just easier because it's very confusing when I see it online.
See, for data, it's confusing just because you are interested in all the courses. That shouldn't be the case, right?
Yeah, that's why I want to focus on a set because
See,
it's
if it's a
hard to.
data analyst, and I'm talking with respect to Microsoft stack.
Okay.
I'm not talking with respect to another services. I'm talking with respect to Microsoft stack.
Right.
In case of data analyst, it would be SQL. SQL is common for all the stacks.
Okay.
Power BI and specifically Azure, and I'll mention only which Azure services are used. Fabric is also used by data engineers. Fabric is also used by data scientists. The question
when
is,
you say
Fabric,
what all are coming in Fabric?
Now, in case of Fabric here, we would be using ADF only. Most probably ADF, some part of Synapse, not everything. This is for straightforward data analyst stack. If it's data engineering.
But if it's just ADF in the Fabric, why are you mentioning it separately?
Why we are mentioning it separately? I didn't got you.
So you put ADF comma Fabric, right? If
See,
you just learn
one thing,
ADF,
I'll recommend one thing. Up till now, only data analyst folks are using Fabric. None of the data engineer will use Fabric because Fabric is in still preview mode. So if any services, if a data engineer wants, he'll always go with Synapse. He'll always go with independent Azure cloud, not with Fabric. In case of data engineering, it is SQL. It is purely Python. It would be Spark in depth. It would be Hive. It would be Hadoop. These are all big data. And it would be Azure services specific to Synapse, specific to Databricks, because in Databricks, all the Spark and Hive Hadoop can be written. This is how data engineering looks. In case of data scientist or science, SQL would be there. See, there is no Power BI in data engineering. In case of data science, it would be again Python. It would be again your libraries related to in-depth of Python, you can say. In-depth of Python. It would be ML models, machine learning models. It would be AI artificial intelligence, you could say engineering, or it more a kind of AI deployments. This would be more a kind of prompt engineering. You want to create a model, train a model, training model. Models are developed here. You could say predictive analysis. This is how it works.
And
Data analyst, data science, and data engineering. Yeah, go ahead.
so when you say Azure ADF and Fabric, so what parts of Fabric do we need to know as part of data analyst? And how much in depth?
That's it.
So this is all a part of Fabric?
Yes.
Oh,
We
okay.
have data.
And
We
will
have it is not called as data warehouse. It is called as, it is generally called as warehouse and lakehouse directly there. Fabric warehouse, Fabric lakehouse. What do you mean by warehouse? What do you mean by lakehouse? Lakehouse is nothing but storage account, and warehouse is nothing but your SQL endpoints. Fabric is very congested product. It is still in development phase.
Okay.
You will see many companies will come as if they know Fabric since last 5 or 10 years. It was introduced 1.5 years back.
Okay.
They only mention Fabric. They will never expect you to be good in Fabric because they themselves are not good in Fabric.
So what do they expect us to know then if they want Fabric?
That's it. That's it. They will only mention Fabric. See how
But they don't know exactly what they want.
Okay. See, I'm on recording. I'm trying to say if certain if certain requirement is given to you, and if you enter that specific, you have selected for that post. If you go and if you are working for that specific role which you are hired for, if 100% is given there, only 60% is what we need to work. They'll only mention Fabric. The first thing I'll always say, and I've been saying since last 1.5 years, if they are asking you, do you know Fabric? You can counter ask a question to them. Do you know Fabric? We know Fabric, that is, it is very but it's in the development phase, it's in preview phase. You can counter ask a question, do you also know Fabric? Because they themselves doesn't know Fabric. I work with Microsoft. I know how many drawbacks are there in Fabric. I'm not saying it is not bad. It will take some time to introduce Fabric in full version, full preview. Completely, it will be released probably next 2 or 3 years, or maybe more than that also.
Okay.
So need not worry on Fabric. What you will learn independently, that can be implemented in Fabric. And there are very, very limitations, large number of limitations in Fabric. Very large number of limitations.
Okay.
What I understand with your explanation, what Fabric is means like they have added data lakes, data warehouse, and like all the data engineering work they have added into lakes. That's it, right?
All data engineering, all data science, all data analyst, everything they have clubbed in one single. Rather than going to Azure cloud and creating separate services, they have integrated everything in one single umbrella. And for every service which you use, you need not pay separate charges. If you use one service also, you need to pay 40,000. If you use 10 services also, you need to pay 40,000. 40,000 is just an example.
Then in this case, probably the licensing part will be very expensive of this Fabric.
Very costly. Very, very costly. You should have premium per capacity, or else I'll show you. Give me a moment. How costly the Fabric is, I'll show you. Not sure if this. So if it gets disconnected, see if it gets disconnected, I have very less battery I need to attach, but yeah, anyways, I'll show you. Yeah, this is the Fabric. See, Fabric itself is a part of I'm inside this Microsoft Azure cloud, and you want to activate Fabric, either you need to have premium per capacity Power BI license, or else you can activate using Fabric from Azure cloud. Fabric is also a part of cloud only. If you see, there is this option called as size. F2 is the minimum size with capacity units, SKU units of 25,000 or 24,292. These are the prices. If you go with F2, it is useless. Very limited capacity you get. F4 also very limited. Either you should start with minimum F8, which I feel F8 is also not feasible for a longer project. For POC, you can do. F16, F32 recommended. If you're working on a very heavy project, F64 and above, it's recommended. For F64, 7 lakhs Indian rupees I'm talking about. You are from different location, it would be different in different currencies. That's how costly the Fabric is.
Very costly, very expensive.
Very expensive. Yep. Any other questions?
And if we are coming from a non-coding background, which of those roles do you suggest we get into?
Start with this. Here you need to have a good in SQL and Python. If you are not good in Python, no use of data engineering. If you're good in Python, then only you can recommend. I would recommend to go with data science. Non-coding background should be always start from a reporting to data analyst, or maybe if you want to learn Power Platform also. Power Platform also rarely any coding is required.
Which has Power Apps and everything.
Yeah, Power Apps and all that. But it is not data analyst. It is a different course. Power Platform is more a kind of app development related aspects.
Okay. Do you think that is more in demand also, if we want to learn after this?
It all depends on which you want to learn. If you want to learn Power BI, Power Platform is slightly different. See, if you go with Power Apps and Power BI, rare chances are there. Power Apps, only Power Apps and Power Platform are there. Many times, people with Power BI and Power Platform are recommended, or the request, the openings are related to. And Power Platform, anyways, I'll give you an idea in Logic Apps. Logic Apps and Power Platform are same.
Okay. Because my company, they are pushing us to learn. They've hired us for Power BI, but they've been pushing us to learn Power Apps and Python and everything. And like, why do I need that? Why do I need this? They've been pushing us to learn everything. So I don't know where to start. And they've also got this license for Zebra BI. Have you heard of that? I guess you do.
It's an external product. You need to connect. Yeah. So that's
they got a license for that, and they've been pushing us to like.
Company will not push you to learn. If a client is coming with their own expectation, then company will ask you work on these tools, because they want
the clients have no idea. The business has no idea. The business users, they don't have any idea about the Zebra BI. So they've got the license. And then they're pushing the business users to use it now.
That's how company works. That's how company works. That's the business.
Right.
No one, see, if you are hired for a certain role, 50% of the role is only for you. 50% is all new, everything new there.
Right.
So, and it's common. And I'm not saying with respect to only one of the organization or any large scale MNCs. It is with respect to product-based companies as well. The question is, you should not be out of stack. If they have hired you for Azure and they're asking you to learn something totally different, then it could be a case, then you can say that, see, this is not my piece of cake. Anyways, you have Power Platform. If you are getting exposure, it's good. I'm not saying it is not a very totally different. You can still go through it. It would be added advantage.
Right.
Any other questions?
Any possibility you could add Zebra BI to the course?
Zebra BI, it's a tool which is used for connectivity medium, not specifically.
I mean, it's like a third-party
Yeah,
visual
third party you
they
can
have
use.
in Power
Kind of
BI.
thing. Yes, yes.
Hello.
Yeah, Manish.
Sir, I am asking about job profile of data analyst in future, like level wise.
Keep one thing in mind.
Yeah.
See, if you enter this market, if you only mention Power BI and you have posted, you are a recruiter, you have posted an opening, you will get 100 of applications within 1 hour. Now it is your duty. HR will have, and I'm sorry if there are any HRs present here, they have zero sense. What they'll do, they'll shortlist all 100 profiles. It is the interviewer who has to identify whether you are a Power BI developer or not. There are thousands, lakhs of Power BI developers, but with one question, I can identify whether he is a correct Power BI developer or he has learned only Power BI above. Drag and drop, anyone can do.
What is that question, Ritesh?
No, why would I say no? Going further, I'll explain. So there is a very huge demand for Power BI, but the thing is, you should not only work for Power BI drag and drop. Anyone can do drag and drop. Behind Power BI, how is it working? Now, this Char and Varchar, I'll guarantee you, you will get many many videos, but you will not find that whether what is the difference between Char and Varchar only when you have to go back and understand the basics. And going further, we will see difference between int, small int, tiny int, big int, medium int. There are so many integer data types. Multiple things are there.
What could be the one-liner answer that was the difference between Char and Varchar?
What's the answer to the question? 1 second, guys. Can you shut up?
I think his laptop is turned off.
Give me a second, guys. Sorry, guys. There is a technical glitch. It seems he was rejoining in 2 minutes. Okay, so technically, like maybe technical questions you can answer, and an average, like I'm observing, right, guys? Like here we are going to learn data analytics, not only like a Power BI or something. So, example, in a recent days, not recent days, around a year back. So, one of our students got a job in a very reputed organization, and everything they asked about Power BI related questions, only SQL, Power BI. That's all. Even they didn't ask any Azure related questions. He got a job. After joining 2 days, he called me back, Mahesh, I'm not able to work here, and they are asking to work on Looker. Looker is another kind of visualization tool, actually.
I'm back.
Yeah, hi, Ritesh. Yeah, someone is asking some technical questions, like I didn't hear completely what it is. Some single line question, answer something.
Okay, it was Divya, it seems, because she had a question that there are some external tools which her organization is using.
No, one guy asked like, what will be the one line
No, I
answer if you're
think
asking?
he asked about, I think the other guy was asking about how do you define difference between NCAR and, Char and Varchar in one line.
Char and Varchar in one line. Varchar is more faster, easy, and storage efficient. That's it. Any other questions? Okay, we are good on time. We'll connect back tomorrow. We'll continue the SQL discussions. Yep. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Guys, meanwhile, if you have any other career related, you can ask me, guys. Mahesh here. So I'm okay to help you with any technical related, not technical, like career related, I can able to answer you. Like you have any doubts, like what will
Mahesh,
be
you were
the future
telling
for Power
about some.
Yeah. So example, like we are going to, what happened? They are asking to work on Looker completely. So this guy is in a tension and he called me, Mahesh, I'm not able to work. To be frank, till that time, even I'm not much aware about Looker. So I just called to my trainer Ritesh and he said, yes, look, son Mahesh, Looker is a new tool, but it's a purchased by Google. It's a kind of visualization tool. And fortunately or unfortunately, that company is having some Google projects. So they are forcing him to work on only Looker. And bad thing is there is no much information available in the even internet about Looker. So this guy initially intense and he said like almost to lose his job. But later we connected with the trainer and he explained, anyway, you are lent here in the case of data analysis. Power BI is just one of the medium there like a tool. Simple example, if you are comfortable with the Android, suddenly iOS may be not comfortable to you. It is vice versa, right? But ultimately the phones both we are utilizing for messaging, calls, or watching YouTube, these kind of things, right? Similar way, if you are comfortable, if you are already learned data visualization and analysis, how to visualize the data and how to make in a proper analysis, how to make in a report, Power BI just in a tool. The interface only difference in Looker or Power BI or Tableau. So we explained him in this way, and hardly within 10 days, he was slowly comfortable to the Looker. And he was from last 2 years, he was working with the same company. Even I'm okay to reveal the company name. It's in a latent view. So in our course also, we design mostly into the, maybe we are saying it's a full stack Power BI, but mainly into the data analysis. How to make a proper presentation and why we need to use only these kind of charts when we are using like a waterfall chart and what reason we need to use a ribbon charts. So these kind of basics also we are going to be covered here. Hope it's you got it right.
Yeah.
Guys, if any other questions you have, you can ask me.
Hi, my name is Alia. So I just want to ask, like, so for this complete course of data analyst, so would you be providing us the schedule, like how the classes would be, on a daily basis, like what topics you're gonna cover? So how can we view
That
it?
curriculum I am going to share with you, even it's there in our website, the total curriculum. It's a 4.5 months duration, every day 8 to 9:30 in Indian time, morning. The same from day after tomorrow. Tomorrow also I will share the link. From day after tomorrow, you have to join from our application only, mobile app or else LMS. Both will work from website. So like I previously, Ritesh explained you, right, how to see the recording. Total you will get and around 22 lectures for SQL. Power BI, it will take almost 40 lectures. And Azure Data Factory and Fabric together, it will take another 25 lectures.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, guys? Along with that, these regular things, we are going to help you with your Naukri profile, LinkedIn profile making, resume preparation, and recently we are starting with the portfolio making also. So these things also we will help you. Portfolio, you don't need to make any additional payment. It's a completely, we will provide for free. So enter your task, like what are the skills you learned, all those things we are going to be help you there.
And how many portfolio projects are covered, Mahesh?
Projects we are going to be cover more than 3. Like it's a domain based, like one banking, one healthcare, one retail. So sometimes it depends on the market requirement. Sometimes suddenly there is a boom for automobile industry. So we will take those projects also. So
So
domain
we'll be doing those from scratch or
very scratch, from very scratch, I can say. Let me show you few of our previous two batch students the information to you.
So those projects we'll start after the course is finished? or
No,
during the
within the course only, by doing one by one, like a course in the sense, example, SQL, he was explained installation. You have to do
right,
today only. You can't do practice after entire course completion, right?
right.
So you have to go and do by one. Example, this is one of the portfolio we made recently for from some students. You can see he was from data scientist actually. He is a fresher. So his self introduction onwards, we are going to train him. Okay, he can see his work. We are guiding him to he need to finish that project.
Mm.
So
So the
first,
three projects not necessarily in Power BI, it will be mix of SQL and Power BI and Data Factory and everything.
together actually, like you want to become a pure data analyst, you need to understand all together, mixed how to work and all, right?
Right.
Just to add some words to Mahesh, also we have some hackathons which are going on. So even for these hackathons, you can, I mean, you want to participate, you can still
Yes.
participate.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
So my question is related to this project, sir. Whatever projects we are going to complete in this particular sessions. So, sir, actually, I'm from the non-IT background, sir, and I don't know about the actual procedure that is to be carried out inside the industry, sir, IT industry. Means how they are assigning projects and how we are completing or what tools we are using for the projects, sir. So actually, at the time of completing our projects in this particular sessions, so are we going to learn the tools that are used in the IT industry?
That's what we are doing, sir. Like everything, like including, I will give another example. So you are saying like you are working in non-IT, right? So you have
Yes,
idea on the Teams meeting also. Like if anyone never worked in a Teams, so we are going to provide a Teams and Microsoft account also each individual student. Like, may I know your name, sir?
Amol, sir.
Amol. So Amol at ksr.com. You are going to get an email ID for every student here. So we are going to help you with your auto outlook and how to write an email, how to schedule in a calendar. Even these are very basic. It's not technical related and day-to-day activities, right? So we are going to create a Teams group for your people. So you guys can discuss any doubts and everything in here itself within the Teams itself. So that we are going to recreate what I can say, IT environment.
Actual environment.
Exactly. So recreating here.
Yes, sir. That is what needed, sir, for students like us, sir.
You can, maybe I'm not going to compete or compare with some others. These kind of things, I don't think any organization able to do now. And another thing, once your course is completed, most of the cases you need to chase me, right? Mahesh or Ritesh, I completed my course where I'm not getting calls. These things usually happens, right? Anyway. But I'm conducting a session on placement cell on every alternate day. Actually, I made like 5 days, but now I made like an alternate day. You can simply join after that. Mahesh, you promised me during my demo session, you will get a call. Now I'm not at all getting a call. You can ask me in front of all the people. So you can join the call and you can ask me, Mahesh, I'm not at all getting a calls. Okay. So there I'm going to help you why you are not getting calls, and I will check your Naukri profile, LinkedIn profile. You can see all these things. So their resume, and we will verify one-on-one resumes. Okay, because we will believe like each resume should be unique.
Yes.
Yeah. So every 2 resume shouldn't be like duplicated. Every resume should be unique. So that's the reason initially trainer explains like how to make your resume, but later we will verify each resume. For that, we have a different team called mentors. Those will prepare, because if I given every resume, all your 100 people resume to Ritesh, for sure it will be, I can't see like a good work rate. Because each resume it will take an average 40 minutes to 1 hour for us, because need to check with the people like Amal, where you worked in a previous organization, like non-IT means which kind of work you did. So instead of making fake projects and all, we will try to replicate the same kind of roles and responsibility within your organization. Example, I will say like an employee in a bank, Axis Bank actually happened. So he initially thought like I need to do some experience documents from outside. I said not required. We made within the Axis Bank only how to utilize Power BI projects. We helped him to make his resume. Initially, we helped to get some project within the like very basics project within his organization also. Later, he completely moved from the Axis Bank, and now he was working with one other good MNC. So no need to manipulate all those things. We just need to understand how the within the bank also Power BI will work. in the bank, like how much sales is happening, like how much loans are taking, how much loans are repaying, what are the chances this person is going to be bankrupt. So these kind of information, they are doing the analysis. How many home loans is generated within the September month, how many personal loans, how many vehicle loans is happened, how many people are not paying from last 2 months. These kind of reports you are generating. Any non-IT, sir, like even I came from the pharmaceutical background, I worked in a pharma industry. Later only I moved to IT. Completely non-technical, my background also, if you said in that way. This placement cell we will take like every alternate day. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.